The night air trembled with the sound of tiny cries drifting across the wild plains, as if the earth itself pleaded for someone to listen. For more stories like this, the moon hung low, like a pale guardian, watching over the lonely patch of tall grass where 3 tiny pups huddled together, trembling in the cold night. Their fur was damp from the evening storm, and their breaths came out in small, uneven puffs as they waited for a mother who had vanished hours ago. The dark whispered around them with every sway of grass, every shifting shadow, and every distant cry of unknown creatures. The pups did not understand the meaning of danger, but their trembling bodies felt it. In the ground, in the wind, in the silence that followed. Each sound the world felt too big for them, too wide, too empty. The oldest pup nudged his siblings, pressing his small head against theirs. His instincts told him to stay low, to keep warm, to wait for the gentle, familiar figure who always returned before darkness closed in. But tonight the path she never failed to return on remained empty and cold. A deep ache of confusion spread through their tiny chests as they whimpered softly, calling for her, calling into the vast emptiness that offered. No, answered the sky, rumbled again, far off beyond the horizon, as if reminding them how small they were beneath it. The little ones shivered, their cries thinning into faint whines. Their world had always been simple: follow the warmth, trust the protection of their mother, stay close to the nest. But now without her, the shadows around them felt alive, watching, breathing, creeping closer. A soft wind rolled over the plains, carrying the smells of dust, old grass, and distant danger. The pups lifted their heads, trying to catch even the faintest trace of the one scent they loved, the scent that meant safety and warmth. But only the cold wind greeted them, brushing through their fur like an unfriendly hand. As the night deepened, the last hints of their mother's trail faded into nothingness. A sense of emptiness settled deep in their instincts. Not a thought, but a feeling, primal and heavy. Something was wrong, something terrible had happened. In the tall grass a rustle echoed. The pups froze, their tiny hearts thudded against their ribs. They were too young to run, too weak to defend themselves. They pressed close together, trembling as the rustling grew louder, then paused, then grew louder again. Each shift of grass seemed deliberate, measured, as if something large and silent moved with purpose. The oldest pup tried to be brave, but bravery felt like a cold stone in his belly. He whimpered fearfully, urging his siblings to stay still, to hope, to wait. But the grass ahead parted with slow, dreadful precision, revealing a pair of eyes gleaming in the moonlight, eyes not familiar, not gentle, but wild and ancient, with hunger and power. The creature stepped forward into the pale silver glow. A cheetah, its sleek body moved with the quiet grace of a shadow, and its breathing was slow, deep, controlled. The pups recoiled instinctively, trying to shrink into the earth. The cheetah's gaze locked onto them, unreadable, bright, piercing. For a moment the world froze, nothing moved, not even the wind. The pups lay trembling, certain that this was the end, certain that the danger their tiny minds could not understand had finally arrived. The cheetah lowered its head, the moonlight tracing the elegant curve of its spine. Its muscles rippled beneath its spotted coat with each step as it approached the helpless pups. The air felt heavy, thick, as if the night itself held its breath in fearful anticipation. The oldest pup let out a faint, desperate cry, a final plea, a final call for the mother who would not return. The cheetah paused, just inches away, her breath warm against their tiny bodies. Her scent was strange, wild, filled with the essence of the hunt, of distance, of speed and death. The pups whimpered in terror, expecting the swift final strike. It never came. The cheetah tilted her head, studying them with an expression that did not match the hunger or killing instinct that should have lived behind her gaze. Instead, there was something softer, something curious, something almost like hesitation. Her ears flicked forward, then back, as though torn between two instincts. The pups peeked up, confused by the stillness between them. The cheetah did not bare, her teeth did not growl, did not move to take one of them. Her body remained tense, poised, but unmoving, as if she herself battled something deep inside her. Wind shifted again, brushing against her coat and carrying the scent of the pups to her more clearly. Her eyes widened ever so slightly, and she sniffed the air again. Then again a low rumble escaped her throat. Not a growl, not a purr, something in between, something unseen. Shy stepped around them, circling slowly with movements careful and deliberate. Her tail flicked softly through the grass, brushing against their tiny paws. The pups whimpered with every pass, but she never touched them, never pressed too close. Her body language seemed almost protective rather than predatory. Still, the tension in the air did not fade. The night remained thick with fear and unspoken possibility. The cheetah paused, suddenly lifting her head toward the horizon. Her ears twitched, picking up distant sounds. Faint movements, something the pups could not sense. Her muscles tightened, then relaxed, then tightened again, as if she stood at the edge of an impossible decision. Minutes passed in silent suspense. The pups lay still, watching her every movement with wide, frightened eyes. The cheetah lowered her gaze back to them, and something inside her seemed to soften the hard edges of her posture. Eased and her breathing slowed, the wild look in her eyes dimmed, replaced with something gentler, something almost familiar. She stepped closer and lowered her head until her nose brushed lightly against the smallest pup. The pup stiffened, expectant pain, but instead felt warmth and soft breath against his fur. The cheetah nudged him gently, turning him slightly as if inspecting him, checking him, understanding him. This banya was not the behavior of a predator claiming prey. It was something else, something the pups could not name. Slowly, carefully, the cheetah lay down beside them, curling her long body around their tiny shivering forms, trapping the cold wind outside her protective arc. The pups hesitated, trembling, unsure if this was safety or a momentary pause before danger returned, but the warmth from her body seeped into them, pulling them closer by instinct. Night carried on silent and wary as the tall grass swayed around the unlikely gathering. The cheetah watched the darkness, her eyes sharp and alert, guarding them, guarding herself, guarding a moment she did not understand. The pups drifted into restless sleep, their bodies pressed against the warmth they needed, though fear clung to them. Even in dreams, the cheetah's breath rose and fell in slow, controlled waves, her mind distant, her instincts tangled in ways she could not resolve. But for this night, nothing could separate them, and nothing could explain the strange, fragile bond taking root beneath the pale moonlight. The morning light slowly spread across the plains, touching the tall grass with soft gold as three tiny pups stirred from uneasy sleep. Their small bodies shivered as the warmth reached them, and their eyes blinked open, filled with confusion and hope, as if expecting their mother to appear with the sunrise. But when they looked around and saw only the endless grass there, cries returned, thin, trembling, searching for the warmth they had lost. The sound drifted through the still air, heartbreaking, and Cheetah, who had stayed all night beside them, lifted her head. Her golden eyes reflected the light, but her expression stayed unreadable. She watched the pups with a mixture of instinct and hesitation, unsure why she remained near them, yet unable to leave. The memory of her own lost cubs flickered in her mind, a pain buried but never forgotten, and the tiny cries of the pups stirred something she had tried to silence. Long ago she rose slowly, her sleek body stretching with deliberate grace. The pups froze at her movement, still unable to understand her intentions. Their fear remained, sharp but softened by the warmth she had given them through the night. The oldest pup stepped forward, though his legs trembled. His courage was small but real, a fragile spark in the vast, dangerous world. His stance made the cheetah pause, and her gaze softened, just enough to show that she recognized his attempt to defend his siblings. A breeze drifted across the plains, carrying a new scent, one that made the cheetah's muscles tighten. Instantly, humans. The faint trace of men traveled through the grass, unsettling the peaceful morning. The pups whined and pressed together, trembling as if they too felt the shift in the air. The cheetah turned, her head scanning the horizon, her posture becoming tense, alert, ready. She nudged the pups gently, urging them deeper into the tall grass where the shadows offered some safety. They hesitated but followed the pressure of her movements, trusting the warmth that had not harmed them. Her ears twitched, she crouched low, listening carefully, and the plains around them seemed to hold their breath. Birds' quieted hooves thudded far away, and the soft crunch of approaching footsteps grew clearer with each moment. You for watching this journey of hope and survival. Stay with us for more real stories that touch the heart and light the soul. Your support means everything. Watch another story to continue the adventure and keep the spirit of kindness alive.